Anita Shreve shames me. Why? Well, she's written more than a dozen books. She's written fearlessly about themes we all think about, but are often, why? I don't know, we're going to explore this tonight. We're worried to express, we definitely explore them, but we're worried to speak about them. I finished the new book, Rescue. Has anyone read Anita's new book yet? Oh, you're so lucky. Do you ever have the feeling when you're getting to the end of the book and you think, oh, don't end, don't end, don't end, it'll be over and I'll have nothing to do? Rescue is like that. It goes really fast and it's great and you wish it would just last longer, but that's a trick. That's a trick of Anita. The bottom line is that Anita has figured out how to talk about the things that matter most to us in a way that someone I was just researching said, she's my guilty pleasure. I don't understand that. And I think we need to explore that this evening because all of you have much better things tonight to do than be here. But for some reason, you are here. And Anita is the reason for that. Anita Shreve has been very important in many, many people's lives for a long time. She's written, as I said, more than a dozen books. I hate to say this, she was very, very famous before Oprah. And then Oprah selected the pilot's wife and she sold allegedly more than 4 million books, which I guess, I don't know, maybe it changed your life. We're going to talk about that, the Oprah Effect. The bottom line is this, she lives in the United States. She writes about themes that are critically important to people around the world. I don't really care where she lives or where she Christmases. She's going to tell us about that. But the bottom line is, she's got a new book out. It's called Rescue. It is everything you expect from Anita Shreve and more. We're going to give you a taste of that, and we're also going to have an opportunity to find out who she is, why she writes, and why she's so successful. But in order to make this evening successful, I need you right now to think of one question. Because we have to have this interactive moment or we are not part of the new millennium, all right? So I'm going to come to each of you on the new platform with a question. Even if Anita cannot answer it, we'll gloss over that. There's a camera here. You have to act excited. Anyway, I'd like to present to you Anita Shreve, an extraordinary writer, an incredible success, and in Canada instead of the United States. I'm so excited. Come on up. Oh, don't you want to say something? Go over there.
Oh, I'm saying something.
Yeah, we can do whatever we want. That's the best thing. Explain why you're not reading.
Well, first of all, I have to ask about Christmases as a verb. That was fascinating to me. I've never heard that before.
Can I do it?
Can I start using it? Like
yes.
Wherever I go? Okay.
As long as you say, as Paula said. Just once
no, I mean,
in your
really,
book.
That seriously, people go away to Christmas? Okay.
We do.
Interesting. I'm not doing a reading. I was going to, but we are a small-ish group tonight. And I think one of the things you wanted to do, if I'm not mistaken, it was, I hate to uproot you, but I guess the idea was to come forward a bit so that we could all have a conversation as opposed to, well, that idea went over really big.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. How do we feel about it?
This is really my first day into the tour. The book was launched last night, and I'm really thinking about it seriously for the first time since I finished writing it, which was in June. And a number of questions have come up which have been interesting to me, and I would really like to hear your questions. It's difficult in one sense because when you go on tour, the presumption is no one's read the book because you're going to hopefully go buy it. But so it's hard to actually talk about the book itself. But I've written 16 books, and I'm hoping that you've read some of the others, and I'm very happy to answer questions about the writer's life as well.
Come and sit.
Okay.
What I would love, if it's possible, could we just have 3 or 4 of Rescue here? I have read the entire book, and it's sort of strange, but I left it sort of cuddled in my bed today as I rushed out to my life, and it would be so wonderful. Can we just have some of the books?
There we go.
Oh, good. Okay. Because I did note some things I wanted to talk about. So this is great. We're a little bit closer. And I want to know why you're here, but first I want to know why Anita's here. I'm going to ask you a question, and I'm going to apologize for this because I know that you've probably answered it so many times. But it's really important when an author has been so successful at reaching us to understand why you started writing in the first place. Because you could not possibly have known when you did that you would have 16, and it will be 28 at some point, books for us to read. Why?
Let us hope.
Why?
Well, it's a complicated story. I grew up in a house in which the word being a writer was not on the radar screen at all. I mean, I would have been laughed out of the house if I'd said I wanted to be a writer. It was just not done. And my father said 2 things to me. He said, when you graduate from high school, you have to know how to type. And when you graduate from college, I don't care what school you go to or what you study, you have to have a teaching certificate. So I did. I got a teaching certificate. I majored in English, and as a minor, I got this teaching certificate, and I taught high school for 5 years. Now, I had imagined myself for some time in my grade school years as a writer, and I had written poems for a magazine that you won't know, but was in the States. It was called Jack and Jill Magazine, and it was for children to send in poems, and that was my first experience with rejection. It was it was a rough road, and so I have that sense of an inclination of wanting to do it. I didn't take any writing courses in college, and then I did something when I was teaching that now, from the point of view of a parent, I think is pretty appalling. But then it seemed imperative, and that was that I quit in the middle of the 5th year. Actually, I didn't even quit in the middle, like at the Christmas break. I quit in April. And I had this very panicky sense that I had to start writing right now, then. And I did. I wrote short stories, and that was a wonderful period. The payment for writing a short story and getting it published in a literary magazine was 6 contributors' copies. So I was living off savings that from teaching, and it was, quickly became apparent that you couldn't make a living writing short stories. So I became a journalist, and I was a journalist for about 10, 15 years, and then all that time I'm trying to find my way back to become a fiction writer. And I had an idea. I had had 2 nonfiction books published that stemmed from stories I did, and I'd had this idea to write a novel. So I said to my agent, I really would like to write a novel.